Hello, everybody. Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas. Got a little video I'm going to do this morning for you. I think you're going to find super interesting. And basically, it started with I got a private message this morning from a friend who I kept anonymous, and she here I've copied and pasted it. She says, "Buddy, I think my younger daughter is caught up in a cultish church. I'm scared for her safety. Do you know anything about this type of stuff? I think the police are involved with the church as well." Okay, and so I'm thinking, I of course I don't have much experience with that other than what you've seen on TV or read in the newspapers or whatever. But I have wondered if that wasn't what was going on here. That would explain a lot of things. And so I did a Facebook post, and this was the picture that I posted, and this was from a private message I got from a law enforcement officer here named Kevin Conn. He was an Ector County law enforcement, and he sent me this picture right here of the Fairmont Park Church of Christ, which is right down the alley from my house, and he asked, "What's this building?" And I replied, and I said, "Did you see the recent video in the alley video?" And he says, "Yes," and I'm gonna show you all that here in a minute. And I said, "It was coming from that direction." And he says, "Sounds like you need to go to that church and look around." So he was wanting me to snoop around that church, and so then it goes on, and I said I can only do so much as a citizen, well, with that being private property. But I spoke with a guy at church one day, and it's odd they've been mysteriously quiet after such a huge story as this, with so much evidence here. They haven't called for the arrest. They didn't call for the secret police to be identified. Didn't call for the underground facilities to be exposed, the murders, the many murders and crimes and all this. Nothing. And they're a neighbor. They're in my neighborhood. And then Kevin Conn says churches don't normally have no trespassing signs, and you're not trespassing until you're told you're trespassing. So he's telling me to go snoop around that church real strongly. And I said I try to do nothing illegal, which includes spit and chewing gum on the ground. I'm well aware that I have pictures of police which could put police in prison for the lawlessness that never ends here. That makes this a very dangerous situation for me. I said, it looks like the guy before me was murdered here. You see the video about Mike Law, and so etc. So anyways, I'm explaining to him that in my situation, because, them police accidentally started the camera and then caught themselves in my home planting evidence and covering up the premeditated capital murder attempt in my life, where my phone lines were cut and I was ambushed and shot. And now it's proven police were under my home, okay? And so anyway, that I wanted to show you that this law enforcement officer was advising me to go snoop around the church. And so I thought that's real weird. So I did this Facebook post here. It's real short. I'm going to read it to you. I said, I don't really know anything about cult churches, but I've wondered if the crimes against me could be connected to one. Down the alley from my home is the Fairmont Park Church of Christ, and a law enforcement officer named Kevin Conn advised me to snoop around there one time, which I took as a clue that they had a connection to the crimes here. Now, I'm not saying that's a cult or nothing like that. I'm just stating facts and asking questions. Obviously, the people from this church must know about the crimes and murders connected with the underground homes and tunnels here, but they've never spoken out about them for some odd reason. And I used to see large groups of police parked there in the daytime sometimes. I wondered if they were meetings concerning the underground parties. I'm going to show you videos on that. Directly across the alley from that church is a home where I suspected may be one of the other 4 underground homes that I was told about. It has the same brick mortar problem that my home had. It also has a water well there. It's in the Fairgate. I said Fairgate. It's actually Fair Green cul-de-sac. And on a recorded phone call, I secretly recorded that woman telling me there were 4 3-bedroom underground homes buried at least 25 foot deep. They're having pedophile parties there, right? That's a video called $1 Million Underground Homes. And then that's been confirmed by multiple other people. One of them was a sheriff, guy running for Midland Sheriff, Joe Lozano, said that our last sheriff, Gary Painter, used to hide out in these underground homes here. The woman in Houston says she worked on this project. They were put in for the Bushes in the 80s. There's a whole bunch of it. You go to Google Maps, looks like one's in my backyard. I've suspected. So that means there's 4 of them. There's the 3 others, I don't know where they're at, and maybe a clue is these mortar problems and the water wells, and one of them homes is directly across the street from that church. And then I'm also saying, if you remember the video of the person being chased down my alley after midnight and then put in the trunk of the car under gunpoint, right? And he was running from the direction of that same church. The ex-wife mentioned some strange things going on at churches here, and my friend Angie, the one that told me about the young girl murdered at the oil show party, told me about a church she went to here in this area, which she described as the worst 2 years of her life. You know, my dad also told my dad that lived in Hobbs, New Mexico, told me about two churches over there, and he hinted they were connected with the sex trafficking crime ring. It seems like it was two sisters that were somehow connected with them, you know, over there in Hobbs. And so I'm thinking, yeah, it's real possible. Maybe this is a cult, you know, and that, some sex trafficking cult or whatever, you know. And so, anyways, I'm going to show you these, here's this videos I put in here. This one was law enforcement officer says look around that church, and this is the one where 4 different times that I come by, and I think, how long is this? This is a 5-minute video, and I'm gonna start here telling history and stuff. I'm gonna skip ahead, and basically I drive by that church coming to my house. Okay, so September 8, 2015.
6 police cars at the church here that's right by my house. That's the church across.
That's what I'm talking about right there.
Cars.
Okay. And then May 10th, 2016. Now, here it is, a different day.
Somebody tried to murder me in, right? That car is 5108. That truck, community service officer, 5376. This one's 5566. That one's 5368. Oh, there's more of them. Hold on a second. 5367. Looks like we also have, what else we have here? That one I can't find the number on. Can't get a number on.
See, and this is all during the time that the secret police were still secret, you know, and, you know, they'd been caught on camera. I'd offered a $2,000 reward. And then I'm seeing these large groups of police parked at this church. The one that the law enforcement officer told me to snoop around at. Here's another date, August 7th, 2016. See, I'm documenting.
Well, there's a person running. Look, they're running. They're running down the alley. Okay, they're down there at the end. They got their hands in the air like, don't shoot, don't shoot. Did they get hit? I don't know. Something happened. The car gunned it. I could hear them gun it. All right, now they're opening up the trunk, okay? And they shut in the trunk, and now they're leaving.
And I did that by order of date. That's when the guy got chased in the alley. Okay. And here's the law enforcement officer on this, which I just talked about, Kevin Conn. December 13, 2016. Another group of police at the church. See, them secret police wasn't identified until 2018. Okay, I'm ambushed and shot in 2012. That's when they got accidentally caught on camera. And I did a video that they tried to disable the camera and accidentally started it. I wondered if any of these police were secret police. That's why I was getting their car numbers.
You know, and I know just recently it was a Ector County law enforcement officer suggested that I drive by this church and kind of hinted that there might be, you know, some connection with the underground facility. That car is 5106, 5469. This one's 5467, 9004, 5115. That one's a ghost vehicle. We don't know what that one is.
And then another one on this January 10th, 2017.
Fairmont Park Church of Christ here on Fairbank Street. A bunch of police cars parked here, about a half block from my house. That one is 5621 traffic control is the number on it. That one is 5688. There's a couple more here. I can't get the numbers on them. And there's more here. 572 on that one. And there's another one. And so, you know, within a half block of here, I survived a capital murder attempt.
These were the names of the secret police. I got them in 2018. Okay, and these were the names from the police report, and I got that in 2019. Off the police report, the long withheld incriminating police report. Okay, and here's the chase down the alley. I want to show you here on the map, if you go to Google Maps, how close this is. This is the Home Depot store. Here's my home where I'm ambushed and shot. When my phone line's cut by somebody under my home. And now keep that in mind, they cut my phone lines. They tried to kill me in my home. Okay, and I believe they killed the guy that lived here before me. The home right next door has a water well. My home had a mortar problem that I believe came from digging under the home. There's a home over here on Westmont Court, has a water well, had a mortar problem, same like my home did. And then this home right here on Fairgreen, across the street from that church, has the same mortar problem my home and that other home had, and has a water well there. Okay, and then there was some other stuff there where they moved a fence and all this. I did a recent Facebook post about that. But here's that church. This is where I was told to go snoop around. You see, it's right up the alley. The guy that was being chased down the alley, he just said he could come from this direction. I don't know if he come from the church, but he come from the direction of the church. And but I do know a law enforcement officer advised me to snoop around this church, and I know there was large, weird meetings of large groups of police here, and I wondered if they were some of the secret police, So maybe they were connected. And then that last paragraph here, I'm going to keep this short. The ex-wife mentioned some strange things going on at churches here. And my friend Angie told me about a church she went to where she described as the worst 2 years of her life. My dad told me about 2 churches in Hobbs, New Mexico, and hinted they were connected with the sex trafficking. That's before he died. It seems like he said there was 2 sisters somehow connected with them. Okay, so I just put in this. What this is the send to list of an email that I sent about a year after the murder attempt, and it shows the huge number of people that I sent this to, and half of them were churches. See, here I went to Grace Lutheran, Holy Mid-Cities, Northwestern Baptist, First Methodist, Cornerstone, Calvary, I don't know, Greater Ideal, there's more on First Baptist, Fairmont Park Church of Christ. Okay, so here I was telling all these churches about this. It was named True Miracles, about this miracle God saving my life when these killers under my home cut my phone lines and tried to shoot me. That was before I knew police were under my home, right? I didn't get a single reply. This also went to West Perry, who was the mayor at the time. Went to Sheriff Gary Painter, who was said to be hanging out down there in the underground homes. Rick Perry was the governor of Texas. Morales was a former mayor. Price Robinson was a former chief of police. This went to the city council, mayor, everybody. I didn't get nothing off of that. It's amazing what's going on here. It doesn't matter how much evidence that you put in the post, and it don't matter how many people they murdered. Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas.